Hey y'all, I'm Rylan. Welcome to my channel. It is officially time to go over my Q3 book haul. In case you missed it on my channel, every quarter this year I have tried to upload a book haul as well as an unhaul. My Q3 unhaul has already come out. I'll tag it above if you want to watch it. And now it's time to talk about the 47 books that I've hauled since the last quarter of the year. I believe that my last book haul came out at the end of July, and that one included 70 books. I have a little bit less than that for this quarter's haul, which I am very happy with, but I will say that I was gifted a ton of books from my bestie Stasia before she moved a few months ago, and those books are not included in this haul because I did a TikTok for them, which I'll tag above if you want to watch it. It's on my YouTube channel as well, but that is a shorter video with 18 books that she sent me, and they're already on my shelves. And today we're going to talk about the books that I have hauled that have not yet made it onto my shelves. Typically when I haul books, they go onto my book cart until I get to sit down and do this book haul. That is how I keep track of all the books that I bring into my house before my next haul is filmed, and we've got 47 here in front of me. So as per usual, we're gonna go ahead and dive into these. I don't have a ton to say about a lot of them. A couple of them I have already read, which is great, but we're gonna go in order of gifted books, special editions, subscription boxes, and then thrillers, romances, and I have two random books that don't fit into any of those categories that I'll show y'all at the very end. But before I do go into this book haul, I do want to give a quick thank you to Everand for being a part of today's video. Everand is an ebook and audiobook and podcast subscription platform. I've now been using it for over 2 months and really enjoy it. I feel like I get more out of what I pay for it than I do with other audiobook subscription services, and have really enjoyed getting to use it for the last couple of months. If you're interested in trying out a new platform for ebooks or audiobooks, or even listening to podcasts, I would highly recommend checking out this service. A standard subscription is $11.99 every month and gives you 1 premium credit to unlock any premium title, as well as already free and accessible content that is on their platform. There are a lot of podcasts and books that are free to use if you have a subscription at all. The premium subscription is $16.99 a month and gives you 3 premium unlocks for ebooks and audiobooks on this platform. Once again, I have really enjoyed using this site. If you're interested in a free trial, I will have a link in the description down below. But without further ado, we are officially going to be jumping into our book haul. Starting off with the gifted books, I do have quite the stack here in front of me. These all come from publishers, so thank you so much to them for these books. First, we have Best Offer Wins by Marissa Cashino. This one is from Celadon Books and comes out in November, I believe, but this one is a thriller regarding a house and the things that our main character will do to keep this house, I believe. I also received 4 thrillers from Kensington. No idea what these ones are about, but I am very appreciative to this publisher for sending these to me, and I am hoping to prioritize them at some point before the end of the year. First up, we have The Unseen by Kat Martin. This is a Southern Gothic thriller. We also have The Sidekick by Nancy Bush, Everyone a Stranger by Kevin O'Brien, and finally A Beacon in the Night by David Lewis. These last 2 thrillers are historical or political, and I'm excited to have them on my shelves. I have been loving being a part of the thriller group with Kensington Books, which is why I've been getting so many thrillers from them, and I cannot wait to pick these up and hopefully review them all over my pages. But thank you so much to Kensington as well as Celadon for these advanced copies. Moving into my special editions, I am currently only subscribed to Probably Smut, Love Story Society, and Belle Book Box. So I have a couple of books here to show y'all. We'll go ahead and start off with my Probably Smut books, starting with Through the Dust by Amber Palmer. This is the sequel to a book that they did a few months prior, cowboy romance, small town. I think they're very fun, and I still have not read the first book in this series, but these covers are beautiful, and I'm excited to have this in my collection, and hopefully we'll get to read it at some point in the future. We also have a hockey romance called The Bad Boy Rule by Maren Moore. The back of this one says, "The one and only rule, don't fall for the bad boy." I have read one book by Maren Moore and I liked it. I'm hoping this one is a very fun time. I love a good hockey romance and cannot wait to pick this one up. And then finally from them, and the one that was probably the most surprising to me in terms of how excited I was for it, is Arcana Academy by Elise Kova. I crave a good romantasy occasionally. This one is huge and that's terrifying, but I've heard wonderful things about this series. This edition is stunning. I do plan to read it and annotate it at some point, and honestly I'm so excited for it. Books like this just are so cozy and fun, and I'm not always in the mood for romantasy, but when I am, this one is probably top of my list to pick up. Moving into my Love Story Society books, we have Chasing Shelter by Catherine Cowles. She writes small town suspense romances, and I've heard wonderful things and I've yet to check her out, so we will be at some point with this one. And then we also have Burn Bright by Krista and Becca Ritchie. This cover is stunning. I still have yet to read anything by these authors, but desperately need to. And then finally from Bell Book Box, I have two books. We have Rewrite Our Story by Kat Singleton, and then Tempt Our Fate by Kat Singleton. I can't remember which one of these books I have already read, but I do know that I did not like it very much. I'm on the fence about keeping these, but for right now, they are staying on my shelves. I think they are beautiful. I have shown y'all the naked hardcover for one of these because they're just stunning, and I have to give props to Bell Book Box for just the beautiful designs they always come up with. We will now be moving on into my book of the month and aardvark books that have been hauled recently. First we have Immortal Consequences by Ivy Marie, another romantasy. This one takes place at a prep school. It's supposed to be really fun. I've heard it has some great representation in it. It is on my 10 before the end. Again, I'm in the mood for romantasy sometimes, and this one will also be prioritized before the end of the year because it is on my list to read by the end of 2025. I'm just not sure when yet, but this one is highly anticipated for me. I love the sprayed edges that Book of the Month has been doing with their fantasy books recently, and love having this one in my collection. Also in the month that I grabbed that book, we got Seduction Theory by Emily Adrian. This is a literary fiction with mystery vibes in it as well, I believe, between a married professor couple and they're tiptoeing toward infidelity, and something about a graduate student in the mix of that. So it's very short, should be a fun time. I love all the drama. We also have Forget Me Not by Stacey Willingham. I have already read this book and gave it 3.5 stars. This is a southern thriller that takes place in the South, and it is about our main character whose sister disappeared when she was a child, and the supposed truth about what happened never sat right with our main character, whose name is Claire, and she gets the opportunity to find out the truth. This one was probably my least favorite by the author so far that I've read, and that's not to say that it's bad, because it certainly was not, but it is the first thriller that has not made me cry by her, if that says anything. It was fun, it was fine, but not my favorite, but it is one of my hauled books that I've already read, which we love to see. Next we have The Compound. I've heard that this one is like Love Island but dystopian, and that's all I needed to know before I grabbed it. I've also picked up The Heartbreak Hotel by Ellen O. Clover. This is a fall romance. It gives bed and breakfast vibes. I think that's kind of what the setting of this one is. This little tagline here says your baggage is welcome here, which I think makes this one the potential to be very emotional, and I'm here for all the emotions in my romances. In my October box, I end up grabbing 3 books. First is Told You So by Macy Neely. She is one of the moms, one of the wives in The Secret Lives of Mormon Wives, and this is her story. I have been reading nonfiction recently, which is super surprising for me, and enjoying it. I am very excited to pick this one up and hear more about Macy's personal life because I do really like her in the show. I also grabbed Middle Tide by Sarah Crouch. This one is a mystery. And then my main pick for the month was Hazelthorn by C.G. Drews. All I know about this one is that it is a YA gothic that takes place, I want to say, in or around a house that may or may not be haunted. So that's a fun time. I've also picked up 3 aardvark books over the last few months. First being Local Heavens, which is a retelling, a chunky retelling of The Great Gatsby with maybe some sci-fi elements in it and some great representation in this one as well. I have been hesitant because of the size of this one, but as somebody who got their master's in English, The Great Gatsby was a requirement multiple times, and I've read it several times over the last several years, and am excited to read my first retelling of it that I can recall. And this cover is stunning. I think the naked cover is ombre, which is beautiful, and this is definitely a fun addition to my shelves. And in my October box, I picked up One Bad Night and Other Stories. This is an aardvark original short story collection featuring some horror authors. We have authors like Kay Chronister, Del Sandine, Kylie Lee Baker, Rachel Harrison, C.J. Lead, Jennifer Thorne, S.A. Barnes, and Stephen Graham Jones. I've read from several of these authors in the past and cannot wait to check out their short stories in this book. And then finally, what sounds like both a cozy and a horrific book, I have picked up The Autumn Springs Retirement Home Massacre by Philip Fracassi. This one is a slasher that takes place in a retirement home, and I think that all of our main characters are on the older side. This one sounds so unique and so fun, and labeling it as a slasher makes me very excited because I think the setting is just going to make this one a very fun and entertaining and also scary time all blended together. Those were all of the special edition subscription boxes that I have received over the last few months. We're going to be moving on into my thriller / horror pile that I have here in front of me. There are quite a few books in this stack. These are the genres that I have most accumulated over the past couple months, and I'm very happy to have all of these in my collection now. First, we have Body of Water by Adam Godfrey. I mostly got this book because of the Tennessee or the Southern Festival of Books that's coming to Nashville, and I haven't read it yet, and I probably will not be able to go to the festival like I wanted to, but I am very happy to have this in my collection. I'm pretty sure it's regarding water, and I think we're in a diner for a lot of the time, and there's a living water that attacks people. That's all I know. That's all I need to know. We're gonna put this one down now. I think it'll be a creepy time, but also I cannot wait for it. I also picked up, kind of on a whim, Breathe In, Bleed Out by Brian McCauley. I have been seeing this one around quite a bit since its release. This is another slasher horror book about this group of people, I want to say, who go on this spiritual retreat and things just don't go right. My copy of this book is still wrapped up because I just never took it out of the bubble wrap, but I also picked up a copy of The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. I have already read this one. I read it years and years ago when it first came out. I say years and years, I think it's been like 5 years since I read it, and I got this one in anticipation of getting to reread it before the sequel comes out. I would love to get my hands on an arc of the sequel, and I need to actually reach out to publishers and ask them before I get my hopes up about that, because otherwise there's no reason for me to be sent one. But I would love to reread this one and then pick up the sequel once it does come out. We've also got my girl Frida McFadden and her newest release, The Intruder. I wasn't planning on buying this one physically, but I just could not pass up on the what is she hiding sprayed edges that this one has. This takes place in a cabin, I think. I've not heard the best things about it so far, but I've been on a high with my books by her recently, and I'm hoping that trend keeps up with this one. I will be reading this one probably next week, so keep an eye out for my thoughts on it. A very underrated book that I pre-ordered a few months ago is Dead Before Coed by Mary Vecellio. This one is a gothic thriller that takes place between these two friends who went to university together, and when they meet back up again, one of our main characters is not acting the same. I love a good thriller that takes place on a college campus, and I think that this one does. It's academia vibes, and we love some good dark academia thrillers, so very, very much looking forward to picking this one up. These next two books I grabbed on a quick trip into the Dollar Tree because people recently have been doing book hauls where they run into the store to see what book selections they have, and I was very impressed with the selection that my personal Dollar Tree had. So I picked up a couple books for $1.25 a piece, which is awesome. And one of those is Adrift by Lisa Bordeaux. This one I believe takes place in the middle of the ocean. It's an isolated thriller is all I know, and that's what made me gravitate toward it. I love isolated settings in my thrillers, and hopefully this one is a very fun time, but for $1.25 I cannot complain. And then also in that same haul I picked up A Very Typical Family by Sierra Godfrey. I think this one is another thriller or mystery. I also picked up Spider to the Fly by J.H. Markert. I read the author's book Sleep Tight, I want to say last year, and really enjoyed it. It was a serial killer thriller slash horror book, and I am very much anticipating this one. We've got another serial killer in this book, and I cannot wait to pick it up. Another book that I purchased because of the Southern Festival of Books is When She Is Gone by Rhea Frey. This one is a thriller, and it takes place around Halloween. That is all I know. This next book that I have, I'm a little bit nervous now that I do own it because I just read my first book by the author and was not super impressed, but I did buy a signed copy of Last Seen by J.T. Ellison. I got to hear this author speak with Stacey Willingham a few weeks ago and bought a copy of her newest release as well. I'm actually unsure what this one is about, but I grabbed it to support the author that night of the event, and we'll see how it goes. It has been several years since I read a book by this next author, but when I saw that she was releasing a new horror that involves a house, I knew that I wanted to pick it up. I grabbed The Unseen by Anya Alborn, and I am very much anticipating this book. I read Brother years ago and loved it. I'm not a huge gory horror reader, but that one was so good, and I'm very excited to check this one out as well. 3 of these last 4 books I have thrifted. First, we have After Anna by Alex Lake. I got it for $2 at the thrift store, and if I see a good looking thriller, I'm gonna grab it, and that one looked very eerie. All I know is that it is about a missing girl who was taken from outside her school. She's only 5 years old, and she vanished without a trace. The next book that I got, also by my girl Frida, is The Housemaid. I have already read this book and I gave it 5 stars. So good, which led me to buy secondhand the second and third books in the series. I have also already read The Housemaid's Secret, and I gave this one 4 stars. Super fun thriller series. If you want something that's addicting and very captivating, would recommend checking these out. They're very easy to read, very bingeable. I did like the first book better personally, but I am excited to check out book 3, which is The Housemaid is Watching, to kind of see what my official ranking of this series is. But they're very fun, very digestible. The only thing that bothers me about having these all from different places is that the publisher logos are not the same and the books are not the same sizes. But it's okay, I'm gonna get over it. I think they're close actually, but one of them is definitely shorter than the other ones and doesn't go out as far, which kind of bothers me. I'm gonna see if I can show y'all what it kind of looks like. Like, there's a pretty nice size, like it goes out. These 2 books go out further than the third book, but it is what it is at this point. I'm just happy to have these all physically because I have been really enjoying this series and I want to read them all before the movie comes out, I think in December. Moving on into our next section, we have some romances that I have picked up. First, we have Rookie Season by Katie Bailey and Leah Brunner. I read this book already, gave it 5 stars. It was so cute. I will tag the reading vlog above in which I read this book, but this is a hockey romance that takes place between two roommates, and it is fade to black. You have all the tension, but none of the explicit scenes, and honestly, I loved this book. The found family vibes were wonderful. The heartfelt conversations were amazing. I love this group of friends. Our main couple was adorable, and I really want to read more by this author duo now, both together and individually. I also got a copy of Game On by Kai Stevens. I found an arc for the price of shipping, and I knew that I wanted to have this one. I read a digital arc a couple months ago and just absolutely loved it. I actually think that I read it last month, but time is a blur. Another 5-star read for me, another 2025 favorite. This time we were reading a cheerleader football romance, but he is on the cheerleading squad for a little while. So fun. Love this couple's chemistry and just had an overall great time with it. Plus, it is set in my city of Nashville, and I loved seeing some places that I recognized in this book. I snagged a copy of Book Lovers after reading some Emily Henry in September because I loved the other book that I read by her recently and want to check out the rest of her stuff now. I used to own a paperback of this at one point, but thought I would never read it, so I unhauled it. But I found this copy for very cheap. It is an ex-library copy, which I'm totally fine with. And we've got rivals to lovers in this one. Next, we have A Witch's Guide to Magical Innkeeping by Sangu Mandana. I only picked this one up because everybody has been reading and really enjoying this one. I've been wanting something kind of witchy and magical and cozy for this season, and I think that this one is the perfect option. It just looks so cute, and I cannot wait to dive into this witchy read that is whimsical and heartwarming at the same time. My only fear about it is the ending, because I heard that people have not been loving it, but I think this one is going to go on my November TBR. I want to tab it and annotate it hopefully, and just hopefully really immerse myself in this cozy fall read. The next two books I also pre-ordered a few months ago, and we have Soul Searching by Lila Sage. I have read Lila Sage in the past and cannot wait to pick this one up. In this one, we are following a photographer and an upholsterer, and they're in a small town, and we are involved in this haunted house maybe. I don't know, but it gives Halloween vibes, and I cannot wait to check this one out. I absolutely loved the author's other book that I read, and I'm hoping that this one is just as fun. And then my last pre-order for the year, for now, was It's Different This Time by Josh Richard. This is a second chance romance, and y'all, that's one of my favorite tropes. This cover also screams fall. I think it'll be a fun and cozy time, and hopefully will get me a little bit emotional as well. And the final two romance books that I have, I picked up at a new romance bookstore that's opening up in Nashville called Coastal Cowboy Books, and I grabbed two indie romances, one being Running Risk by Dawn Anderson. This one is a small town romance, which again, we love the vibes for those books. Then I also got Heartbeats by Rebecca Elder. This is an emotional romance as well, and it's supposed to be heartbreaking, but also putting your heart back together at the same time. I'm excited to check out both of these authors. I love supporting indie authors and indie bookstores, and I'm very excited to have these in my collection. The last two books that I have hauled, I am unsure of what category they fit in, so they are in their own category. First being Cult Classic by Sloane Crossley. I also picked this one up in my Dollar Tree book shopping trip, and I don't know what genre this is or what it's even about, but I've heard good things about it. We've got the word spooky on the back. That's all I need to know. I don't know. We'll see. I think it's literary fiction plus fantasy and maybe some romance at the same time. I don't know, but it looks fun. I love the cover, and I had to pick it up when I saw it for $1.25. And finally, I found an arc at a thrift store for $1, so I just grabbed it, and that is People Person by Candace Carty Williams, who is the author of Queenie. I read that book several years ago and really enjoyed it, but had not kept up with the author since that book's release, and I'm glad that I did, because this is another one that has come out since Queenie, which I did enjoy reading. The back of this book says, "One father, 4 mothers, 5 children. If you could choose your family, ... you would not choose the Penningtons." Sounds like it's gonna be a fun and dramatic and hopefully just a book about found family and what family really means. That's kind of what the back of the book gives with the description of it, and hopefully it's a fun time. But this one was at Thrift Smart for just $1, so I went ahead and picked it up. I'm guessing that somebody donated it, but I decided to go ahead and grab it. So this is my last book that I've hauled since my last book haul. Not as excessive of a stack as my Q2 book haul, which I'm happy with. I had a little bit more self-control over the last couple months. 47 books is still a lot. They're all gonna go into my bookshelves, into my collection officially now that I have hauled them for y'all, and I cannot wait to see them added to the shelves behind me. If you've hauled any great books recently, feel free to comment down below and let me know. I love hearing what books are added to your TBR, and let me know also if you've read any of these books. If you made it to the end of this book haul, make sure to comment a shopping bag. I appreciate y'all's support and y'all showing up and being here. But thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video.